Hi and welcome to Fortress Learning. In this short video from our library of bite-sized tutorials, we'll cover different delivery methods used in training and assessment. A key feature of the VET system is that it is client-focused, and delivery methods should be carefully considered to best address the needs of our learners. Modes of delivery are varied and are influenced by the training to be conducted, clients' needs and preferences, as well as logistical and technical factors. We have traditional face-to-face training, virtual classrooms, distance or online, and blended learning. Face-to-face training has been a rather traditional way for people to learn and in many cases remains a preferred option for a number of reasons. It maximises the interaction as people are in the same room. For the trainer, it allows for better control of a class. And for the learners, there is immediate response for clarification and feedback. The face-to-face environment means that those involved are not necessarily chained to a desk, and there is also the advantage of using tactile resources. There's also the opportunity for the trainer and the learners to develop strong bonds. If anything good came out of the recent pandemic, it was the growth of the virtual classroom. Although these were around beforehand, the onset of COVID meant that face-to-face was not an option. With this dilemma, training in the virtual environment needed to lift its game and did so. There are now many excellent learning platforms to consider, and some advantages are that it is accessible even to remote learners, all the while working from the comfort of home with familiar equipment. It maintains the face-to-face interaction and allows for recording of training sessions. Interactive computer-based activities are always being advanced, which help promote engagement and learning. Distance or online learning has long been a convenient way for learners to complete their study. With busy lives and time constraints, it becomes an option where learners can study at their own pace. Many learners are self-disciplined and like to manage how they learn. Distance learning offers flexibility with how and when the learning and assessment takes place. Again, the learner has the comfort of their own home and can often work undistracted. There's also a sense of personal satisfaction that can be gained from your own drive and initiative. We can also have a blended option. This can include part face-to-face delivery plus distance learning, or a combination of virtual classrooms and distance learning. Either way, it combines all the advantages for learners. It still allows for interaction where required by a course, but also provides flexibility in completing those tasks that are deferrable, such as practice and assessment. The learning environment itself is either real or simulated. The real environment is often the workplace of the learner, where they are trained and assessed on the job. A great example is with apprenticeships, such as an apprentice cook. The real environment provides opportunities for job readiness and demonstrating proficiency in the dimensions of competency. In the simulated environment, we are replicating the workplace, and it's important that such conditions are as realistic as possible. For example, training CPR would be difficult in the real environment, unless you have a real casualty, but even in that case, I don't think we want a learner to be doing the reviving. So we use the Annie dolls to replicate the real environment. Depending on the learning, the delivery method may be instructional or via demonstration or both. For example, training on emergency procedures requires instruction in following an organisation's procedures. But effective training requires more. A model widely used in training is EDAS. E is for explain, where the trainer provides verbal explanation of the learning outcomes which can be supported with visual and tactile resources. D is for demonstrate, and the trainer backs up the explanation with practical demonstration. Sometimes explain and demonstrate can happen simultaneously. A is for apply. Here it is over to the learners to practice the skills and/or knowledge, and this is not necessarily limited to one opportunity. S is for summarise, where the trainer recaps the learning covered. This model focuses on reinforcement as a key principle of adult learning. Going back to our example of training on emergency procedures, the trainer would provide instruction via explanation of the organisation's procedures and simultaneously demonstrate with a visual presentation. This could also involve a walk through the evacuation route and assembly point. Then, to apply the learning outcomes, the learners could role-play mock evacuations and participate in a Q&A activity. And to summarise, the trainer can close with a recap of the learning outcomes and feedback to the learners on their performance. Effective presentations are a key to learning. Along with the EDAS model, resources need to be carefully considered and used. These can include slides, the use of a whiteboard, or even a flip chart. If you haven't already done so, it is worthwhile checking out our bite-sized tutorial on creating engaging resources. Whatever the delivery method, it's all about engagement of your learners. So what comes to mind when you hear the term lecture? My personal view is that it doesn't have a lot of application in the vet sector, and it's probably more associated with higher education. It doesn't really allow for two-way communication, and frankly, puts some people to sleep. So let's put that in the bin for now and focus more on some ideas that can really engage your learners. These can include group discussions, brainstorming, practical activities, projects, and breakout groups. All of these can be conducted either in a face-to-face or a virtual environment and provide active participation. The key here is to keep the learners busy and stimulated. And regardless of the delivery method adopted, I like to include these 3 E's. Engage the learners. Keep them busy and challenged. Energise the learning environment. Monitor the learner cues and stimulate them with energizer activities. These don't always have to reflect the training and can even provide welcome breaks. And finally, enjoy. What a welcome piece of feedback it is to hear that a learner enjoyed the experience. Thanks for watching, and if a career as a trainer in vocational education and training is something you're interested in, contact Fortress Learning to see just how you can get started.